Hello and welcome back to the Byzantines. So, we have a child who is now 16. This means that we can start thinking about succession. Now, I haven't gone through succession as an admin character before, but this is roughly how I see it working. There are two successions that we currently have. We have the estate succession, which is purely who will inherit our estate after we die. This will be who gets all of the bonuses from it. This will be who gets the money from it, and this is completely separate to the land which we have, because the land that we have is a governorship that has been given to the person in charge of the estate. It is not connected to the person in charge of the estate, if that makes sense. So, with that in mind, what we need to think about is who do we want to inherit our estate, and what land do we want our children to inherit outside of that? And then we're going to get into how we're going to spend our influence with that going forward, because our influence is going to be needed to get these people in charge of different titles. So, let's start right at the start. Who is going to inherit our estate? Well, in theory, it could be any of the children except for Akakios, because I believe this would be an inherited title, and as he is a beardless eunuch, he would not be eligible for this inherited title. So, anyone except for Akakios out of our children could, in theory, inherit our estate. Let me just check this for a second. So, the succession is noble family succession. The noble family title will be given to the player heir. Oh, alright. Well, it's very simple then. So, whoever our heir ends up being will get the title. Okay, well that works fine for us then. That's very simple, I guess. Right now it's going to be our heir. I love how it says it's male preference, because that's just applied to all the laws as like a default at this start. But male preference means nothing, because if our player heir was not male, then it wouldn't matter, because they wouldn't have preference, because they wouldn't be the player heir. Right? Like, it says these are the people who would be your successors, but that's not entirely true, because it'll just be whoever happens to be our heir at the time. So, anyway. So that's fairly straightforward. Whoever we pick as heir will be our heir. And we can do this using the Designate Heir button. Now, there has been a suggestion made with the Designated Heir button that we'll get to, but on the other side of things, before we get to that, we have our other succession, which will be trying to influence candidates to be in charge of thems. Now, are they here? I'm just seeing here. So they are in line for this because I guess they're just default in line for this. Yeah, I guess they are just default in line. Are they default in line to anything else? No, so they're only default in line to the title we already hold. Okay. Well, that makes sense. That's fine. Oh, yes, and of course, Akakios. I was trying to think, why do we have two children there? Akakios is also, in theory, in line to this title, because it is not something that he'll be inherited. It's not like something that he's going to be inheriting via succession. He is going to be governing over this land. Okay. But he does lose minus 25 due to being lowborn currently. If we want him to be in charge of a title, we can get rid of this. We can simply say, you are legitimized, at which point he gets plus, or he gets no pluses, right? Oh no, he would get a plus 10. So he would get plus 35 if we did that. Oh no, he counts as close family anyway. Oh, so you get plus 25 anyway, so that would put him at 70. So, there are two children, one at 71 and one at 70. Okay, cool. So, I assume that if I want to influence a candidate, I would do this, and then I pick the candidate, yeah, and then I influence them. So I can't influence you because you're a child still, but I could be like, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to give you 75, that's then going to give us this. Okay, so the base is 100 for a medium contribution of 20. So is the base 5 times the contribution? And then we get minus 25 for a state being located here. Let me look at major contribution. So major, 250, minus 62. Minus 62 equals 187. That doesn't add up, which means that that is not 62 right here. That means that this isn't 62 and this isn't 187, which means that this is some number between 62 and 63. And then this is some number between 187 and 188. Okay, so what is this? So what is this value? Now I'm just curious. So this one might be easier. So the base is 100, so it's a quarter? Is it just a quarter? Yes, it's just a quarter, but there is no quarter. So this is 62.5. Okay. And then it's just rounded to 187. Or 188 if you happen to look at this part. That's interesting. Why do they have different roundings on the tooltip versus the cost? One must round up and one must round down. That's very intriguing. Anyway. But you can also contribute a specific amount as long as you only want to be 1 point above the previous person. Okay, and then that will still be a quarter. Although, look at this, it's done the same thing. That's very weird. Okay, so this is going to be, I think, our main sink for influence, because I assume once we make a contribution, you will then see, for instance, you will then see, like, these guys make their own contribution. Like, this guy has 500 influence, and he's unlanded. So he's going to spend all of his influence to put himself in charge. Right? Investments. I'm assuming, is that him? What does this mean, investments? So this is plus 50 out of 129? What does that even mean? Okay, interesting. Maybe we're going to have to invest something of our own to, or do something of our own to see. That's plus 50 out of 144. Well, what does that mean? That's kind of interesting. Anyway, so that's where we're going to be looking at. So we're probably going to look through a lot of the titles and try and match titles to children and figure out what children we want to be in charge of things. Anyway, before we get into that and we get far too away from our original point, designate heir. There's been a suggestion made in the comments that we could potentially utilize tutoring trips still with the designated heir option, as we are allowed to take our heir on tutoring trips, right? So if we change our heir, we will change... I can't do that because you're not legitimized. Let's pick someone else. If I change my heir, I could take different people on these trips, although you're 15, so I couldn't take you either, I think. So it would have to be like Joshua, right? I could designate him as our heir and then take him on a tutoring trip to raise his skills, which may or may not be worth it. But there is a cost with designate heir, and the cost is higher because we're admin. So it is 500 as a default. However, admin also cost an extra 150 influence. So we would be giving up influence in order to give extra skills to a character. Now, it's actually going to cost us double this because we would, in theory, want to change our heir to someone else afterwards, which would mean it's going to cost us 300 influence and 1,000 prestige, which is quite a lot because that's going to put us down into like the 750 influence range, which means that we're going to have a lot less control over who's going to be in charge of the them. Because let's say we invest 500 in this character to match his 500, well then we're only going to have 250 left and we're not going to have enough for anything else. So, yeah. I don't think we can do it right now, but I think it's something to think about later if we happen to get more influence generation and we get back into this situation. It's also been pointed out that tutoring trip may only work if your child stops at one of your holdings. So children accompanying you to your holdings in your domain will be able to increase their skills. The way that I was reading this is that if you took a child through your domain, you would get increased skills. But I think from the comments and from some context clues here, that's not the case. Because inspection is only in your domain, hike is only in your domain, and Monument Expedition, actually hike can be outside, but you can do it in your domain. And in Monument Expedition, you can also do in your domain. So I think that this is actually for these new things in here, or for a hunt or something that you can hold in your domain. It's for like, if you hold an event in your domain, you can get tutoring trip, not for if you travel through your domain. It's still good because we get the marriage acceptance, which is very useful, but yeah. Anyway, that's fine. Right. So, now we've talked about all that, let's look at the realm and figure out which children we want to try and focus on, and what land we want to try and focus the children in. So, let's start with, do we want Akakios to inherit some land? It's a tough one. I don't think we do. I think his skills are worse than his brother's skills, right? Let me just check something here. Skills 50, skills 51. So it's worse than his brother here. Yeah. I don't think we want to right now. I think that maybe it's an okay option, but I don't think that we need to jump on that. Do we want Zacharias to inherit land? Potentially, although his skills actually aren't that impressive either. Right, they're fine, but he's not the most exciting heir I've ever had. He does have a level 4 education, which means that he's going to gain a bunch of monthly intrigue lifestyle experience, which means that in theory, you can say that actually he's going to end up with a lot more skills, because he's probably going to go down schemer, maybe get this +5 to intrigue, maybe get +3 to intrigue there, maybe get +4 to prowess or something, but you know, there's options if we go down that path, and that he would get benefits via his intrigue education. But right now, he's not super impressive. He's diligent, ambitious, which are good. Arrogant is not that good, but okay. His brother? His brother looks like he's going to come out with a ton more skills, in theory, because he's got, what, 18, 28, 34... 49. So he's got 49 already, and he's likely to get at least a level 3 education. So he's probably going to come out with mid-50s in terms of skill. So he's probably going to be a very good person for trying to push in charge of land, because he's going to have a lot of natural skills. Artemios, 16, 27, 36, 44. He's probably going to end up roughly the same as Zach. Rachel, I don't actually know, because I can't actually see any... Oh, no, there we... perfect. I was going to say, I can't see any women who are in line to anything. I was going to click around, but we happened to find one anyway. Okay, there we go. So, what I was looking for is... do you get a negative for being a woman and trying to put them on the throne? Yes, you get minus 80%. So whatever this value is, you get minus 80% on it. Okay, so it's going to be very difficult if we want her to be in charge of land. So Rachel probably isn't going to be in charge of land, because we don't have a ton to invest. And if we want to try and split our focus a little bit, well, we couldn't split our focus. Basically, we would have to go all in on Rachel, ending up with the best... like traits and ending up with the best bit of land, right? We'd have to go all in on that. So I don't think we're going to do that. Theodosius. Now, he is quick, which is great. That's +1 to all stats. So this would be someone who would be good for us to play going forward, because we could potentially get that quick inherited by children. We could get it into our line. This might be an alright option. What's he at right now? 20, 24, 31, 44. So he's at 44 right now. He's only 12. There is a chance that his skills go up over time here. So there is a chance that he ends up being very, very good. So potentially we want to leave a little room for Theodosius. And then Joshua. And Joshua I don't think is that exciting either. Is he? 23... 27, 29, 35. So yeah, so he's only at 35 points. He's 1 year younger than Theodosius, who is much higher in terms of points. So yeah, I'm thinking Theodosius is definitely an option for us. I think that we have him. We have Zacharias, maybe. Yeah, and then maybe Isaac. So I'm just going to mark them on the side here. Wait, why do I have you pinned again? I have you pinned because you were going to be an educator, but you're not an educator. That's fine. Oh, I also said I was going to find that that character from previous. Let me put a cut and we'll see if we can find that special character before I move on. Okay, so a little aside, this is the character people were pointing out earlier that became an adventurer in, I think, one of the earlier episodes. This character just happened to be a character who is a historic character. So if you're interested in who they were, that's who they were. So I'll leave that on the screen a second or two, and there we go. So basically, it was just one of the random characters who became an adventurer was spotted as being a historical character previously, which can happen. Historical characters, even though this is in an ahistorical game, can turn up randomly. Anyway, that was just while I was getting rid of our pinned character list that it came to my mind. Right, so, heirs. We're going to have Zacharias, we're going to have Isaac, and we're going to have Theodosius. These are going to be our potential heirs, I think. So we may try and get 3 titles for these characters. I think everyone else on our list is not a potential heir currently. I don't think Akakios is a potential heir. I don't think Artemios is a potential heir. And I don't think Joshua or Rachel are potential heirs. So, that is our plan. So, we now have 3 pieces of land. When is your birthday? Birthday is the 17th of January, so we'd have to wait like 8 months to sort you out. Okay. So how about for now, we try and put Zacharias in charge of Epirus. That seems like the most sensible, it's the most sensible and easiest thing to do, because it is land which we currently have our, what's it called in? We currently have our estate in. It's land that we currently hold. It seems good. And it costs less to influence because their estate is located within the title de jure here. Also, that implies that if I move my estate, I can then get cheaper costs if I want to take over another them. So how much does it cost to move an estate? Let's just, actually, yeah, do it for right here, right? Cost 20 gold? Is that it? Oh. So we could move our estate for 20 gold. Okay. So that's fairly cheap in terms of it. It costs you 180 days, but still, fairly cheap. Maybe it goes up with... It probably goes up with tech level, would be my guess. Most things do. Right, so let's try and put Zacharias in charge of this land. I don't know if Zacharias is going to be our end heir. I don't know if he's going to be the person we want to be our heir after all of this, but he is going to be the person who we want to inherit Epirus. So, let's do... How much do I need? 28 to put him in charge. I'm going to do a major contribution. We're going to spend 187.5, which is going to be 188 or 187, to put him firmly in the lead. Let's do that, and then we can see what these guys do after that. So, let's do it. He is now the heir to Epirus. Wonderful. Right. What we can also do here is we could, in theory, I believe, do things against these guys. So I could try and slander him or do some other thing in order to knock him back down. Request appointment support. Ask Lord Andronikos to promote you or a house member becoming a future Strategos or Basilius. Okay. So, not for the Byzantine Empire, for the them of... Epirus. Would not accept. Close family is among the top 3 candidates. Okay, so you can't get somebody in if they're already among the top 3. He belongs to a powerful family. Difference in level of influence, so because we're more influential, he'd be more likely to accept, and he has spare influence. I see. If I chose like this one. Yeah, so this one doesn't have the same negatives. Although interestingly, one of these other ones had minus 129. Close family is among the top 3 candidates. Ah, that's his close family are among the top 3 candidates. I understand. Okay, cool. So we could potentially try and make friends with people who just happen to have a lot of influence lying around and try and get them to put our children in charge of things. Okay, interesting. Well, I think we unpause because it's been like 20 minutes without unpausing. And then... we see what happens in January and see what we can do with our next child. Yeah. Also see whether anyone's going to try and push for our them in that time. Still, the Basilius fights. For years now, the forces of Basilius Basilios have waged a holy war against Sultan Murad of Africa. In the provinces, we hear tales of terse sieges, of uncertain battles fought to muddled, bloody ends. We debate dreams of foreign conquest, the dreams our Basilius chases. The faith of the people wavers. But by all reports, the fight goes well, but by God is the Basilius' progress slow. Okay, I mean, he's at 65%. Don't count him out just yet. We've had this event before as well. I'm not going to join the war. You could say a strong ruler would have ended this. He dislikes us. Our faction gains content. Oh my god, are we still in that faction? Not only am I still in the faction, I cannot leave the faction. I forgot. We're the leader of the faction. So we could gain discontent. Okay. The provinces are far from the Basilius' thoughts. We can get domain taxes here for lowered popular opinion and get some Strategos trait experience. Or a pious donation, a prayer in his name. Well, our level of devotion has not been great, so maybe I'll will try and improve my holdings a little bit. Get some extra money. Cool. Right. Carrying on. Commanders are improving. Awesome. We love to see it. We love to see it. Byzantine candidate harmed. Turmarche Krilios has opposed her candidate score for the Byzantine Empire with -10. My candidate score for the Byzantine Empire? I have a candidate. I'm the candidate for the Byzantine Empire. Oh, I am 11th in line. I guess you're just always a cat. Okay, and investments are how much that has been invested by other people. I see. I see. Does that make sense? So I am just naturally in line for the Byzantine Empire, as is every other them. I see. This guy's likely to be the next Basilius. Ah. Okay. I'm not that interested in that, but that, thanks for letting me know. Just want to have a look in here. There was something I saw. Yeah, so investments for us. Yeah. Got a coherent thought now. Investments for us are -10, right? So it shows -10 here, and that's a -10 investment. So that makes sense, right? He has invested -10 in lowering the amount of investment we can have towards being the Basilius. Now, if we have a look at the Them of Epirus here, when we previously had a look at these guys' investments, this was 50 out of 129. Does this mean that Strategos Nikolaos can only invest up to 129? Why? Like, what I want to know is, what is the restriction here? Why can he only invest 129? Or, if he can invest more, why does it say plus 50 out of 129? I guess we're going to have to try and put somebody in charge of another them in order to find out, because I assume our investment isn't capped. No, our investment is capped. 50 out of 130. That's 130, that's 129. Is this one also 129? It's 144. So what's this based on? So I could influence more. I almost want to just keep influencing so I can find out. Now I'm just curious. What? Is there a limit? Let's do it. You know what? We have a ton of influence. We want them to be in charge of this. Let's find out. So if I try and influence this again, this now says 100 out of 130. It should tell me I can't. Oh, 30. There we go. Contributions will be smaller due to investment capacity being reached. Okay, fantastic. What is investment capacity? It's the maximum a character may invest in their own or anyone else's candidate score for a governorship. Age, family rating, level of influence, and estate buildings are the main factors that determine this limit. Children have a small scaling malice to this limit, while an adult's limit rises as they age. While an adult's limits rise as they age. So the older you are, the more you can invest. And if you're a child, you can invest less. I guess a child could invest for somebody else to be in charge of something, because you could be a child ruler. In theory, or like you could be a child estate holder. Okay. So this is great. I love how it's described. Where can I see the breakdown? That's what I want to know here. how can I find this number? That's the bit that it's not telling me. It's like, okay, this is affected by many things, but can you show me the breakdown? Can you show me the tooltip that says age, family rating, level of influence, like age +5, family rating -1, level of influence plus this, right? That's what I want to find out, because right now we don't have that. At least not in investments. It doesn't say, it says 130. Okay, also, I'm going to try this as well. So it's influence candidacy. Not for the Byzantine Empire, although that is funny that that's the first option. Just for Epirus, right? Close that for a sec. Oh, no, influence candidacy. For Epirus. That's fine. Yeah, there we go. So I was trying to get back to the full thing. So this is a cap purely on an individual. So it's how much you can invest in an individual. Okay. If he gains Epirus, he may reward his top non-house supporter. We're actually not a member of his house, so that's kind of interesting. We could, in theory, get a reward if we try and push him in charge of something. Huh. Okay. So, it's how much you can invest in an individual. Now, let me just double check investments here, just to see how it described it again. I know I'm just going back in and out, but let's have a look. Oh, 1. Can you invest in multiple titles? That'd be interesting. So if I do a major contribute, yeah. So it's so it's investment capacity per person per title. Okay. So if I clicked, actually, let's go back in here. If I click this, it caps at 130. So it's 130. So it's not different per title. Okay. Age, family rating, level of influence, and estate buildings. Okay, so a character may invest in their own or anybody else's candidate score for a governorship. So, is there something on our character that says that that is our limit? No. I don't see anything on our character. Huh. Administrative? Nope. Nothing in here. Alright. I might have to look that up and see if somebody's found a way of actually, or a breakdown of this, because that seems... It seems like there are things that you could potentially influence, but there's no way of knowing what your influence is going to do. Also, I would love to leave this faction if we could, but... Huh. I'm just checking the different ones of these, see if there's anything in here. No, so it's 130 right now. I guess we just have to be like, it's 130. Okay, cool. Right, continue time. Let's let it continue on a little bit here. There's a new faction of populace targeting the Basilios. He is about to win his war for the Kingdom of Sicily, though. Fantastic. Child of my dynasty. My daughter-in-law, Renaud, has given birth to a son. Since the little one is part of the Hexavulus dynasty, he should be blessed with a good name. He shall be blessed with an orthodox name. He should be called Marcos. Sure. Isaac comes of age. I am proud to see my son no longer as a child, but as an adult. Always the curious and knowledge-hungry child, Isaac has shown an affinity for scholarship from an early age. His understanding of philosophical and theoretical works is impressive, and he often engages in debates with his former teachers. Even at such a young age, he can be heard quoting obscure passages to support new ideas and theories. They grow up fast. He is a mastermind philosopher, so he got +8 there. That is fantastic. So he is currently very high in terms of skills. So if we go and check the Them of Epirus, just because he will be up there. Yeah, he's got +54. So his base is 74, which is very high. Okay, fantastic. So, if we want him to be in charge of something, what do we want him to be in charge of? Okay. Well, maybe we find a Them that currently does not have a successor. Like the Them of Armeniac, or the Them of Charcianon here, like one of those ones, because those shouldn't have anybody next in line, yeah. So Basilius, I guess, just naturally has a -10 on this, maybe, or No, he has minus 85 naturally for being the affiliate. Somebody just happens to have lowered it by 20 on top of that. Okay, I see. Yeah. So what we could do is we could try and push for, yeah, Isaac to be in charge of one of these ones that doesn't have anyone, a successor. Interestingly, this is no valid candidate, right? And we'll return to the top liege. This one, this means that this guy has actively tried to put himself in charge of this, right? Or it might just, you know what? It probably just means that there has been an active change in the base. So, let's assume that the Basilius will naturally sit at 0, right? For every single them. This one, there has been an active change in the investment because this guy has specifically tried to lower the Basilius's chance of inheriting this them. So it's gone to minus 10, so therefore it shows him. But on this one, nobody has influenced it in the slightest. Therefore, it's not showing up. Okay. So where are these 2 bits of land? That's the next question. So, this piece of land here is up there. So that's one piece of land, and then the other one is over here. So it's these 2 bits of land right there next to each other. I don't know. Maybe we'll try and get him in charge of this land. It currently has no successor. Let's just let's make a little investment. Let's just make a tiny little investment for Isaac. We're going to go for a little medium contribution. Costs us 100. It puts him as number 1. Aha, yeah. So then it gives him skill. So I guess you have to make an investment and then they will show up in the them succession. Okay, so if you don't make an investment, they won't show up. But the moment you make the investment, suddenly they get all their skills added. Let me just look at another one, for instance. I just want to check something here. So if I went Isaac and then I contributed enough. Yeah, so I could add +4 here, which would apparently put him in first place. I don't think you'd even need +4. But then he'd get all of his skills added and suddenly he'd be like highly likely to inherit. I see. Okay. Cool. I like that. Okay. Right. So now Isaac can marry as well. Who is Isaac going to marry? We had marriage 1, right, as a filter? Why can I not apply these filters? Wait, where are we? Oh, there we go. For some reason, yeah, that's fine. For some reason it wasn't showing. So 25, age difference of 10. Doesn't need to be an adult. We're looking for inheritable traits as well. Okay, not a ruler and not lowborn. Okay. So this is basically our options list for him. If we want to stick with what we were going with before. So you can marry Pavlina. Marry Constania. Yeah. I don't know. Pavlina or Constania are both fine. Let's maybe go with Constania. Yeah. Or Constantia, sorry. I think this would be okay. I think. Sure, I'm not going to do a grand wedding. Oh, yeah, but he would lose prestige for marrying into this house. Do we care? We might care, but I don't care super about that. Yeah, we were carrying on the first child, but I don't know. Maybe we'll just let this one go. The other option is that we look for somebody with some prestige gain or something. Or some alliance. Are there any alliances we could get? Let's just go in here and go alliance here. So that'd be the only alliance we could get with our current filters, which would be a barony. We get 16 men alliance, so which isn't really anything. Let's maybe go for all. Yeah. Let's see, what's the best alliance you can get? We'll just do alliance power as a quick way of doing it. Alliance with the stem here. Belisarios. Okay. She is a little young. How about this person? It's another them, but she's 13. Oh, how about this person? Valeria. That seems fine. Yeah. That then gets us an alliance. And it gets them and it would then get them an alliance as well. As in it would get him an alliance once he inherits. Sure. That seems fine. Don't want to hold a grand wedding as we probably can't afford it. And they're willing to accept due to know your land, know your people, plus 25. Nice. Alright. Let's send that one through. Right. Now we zoom out. We unpause. New alliance formed. So now I have an alliance with this guy, actually. We're just going to look at this guy in particular. Now I have an alliance with him. Can I ask him to... let's just see. Ask him to support my... I'm now struggling to find where I would look for this. What's subsume governorship? Attempt to secure your appointment to an entire duchy neighboring your own. Oh. Okay, interesting. Request appointment support. Yeah. I'd like you to try and put Isaac in charge, not of the Byzantine Empire, but of that them that we just put him in charge. We were trying to put him in charge of. Armeniac. Let's try and put him in. Let's try and get him to support this. -5. Okay. He has excessive amounts of influence. He has opinion, but he's just saying no. Generally, it doesn't get over the base reluctance. Okay. So the alliance does nothing for this. It's just that he happens to like us. Okay. I'm assuming that's opinion of us, not opinion of our candidate. Yeah. I would assume so. Okay. Interesting. So we could, in theory, if I was to send him a... I could send him a eunuch. How much would he like our son? That actually gains me a huge amount of influence. Huh. Interesting. But no opinion, apparently. Huh. Interesting. I thought that would give you opinion. Oh, there's just unassigned... Oh no, those are unassigned thems, not thems that had no successor. Oh, okay. But anyway, yeah, so if I was to send him a gift, which for some reason I can't... Oh, because I don't have enough money. Yeah, there you go. If I was to send him a gift, then he would say yes to that. Okay. Oh, also he happens to be a eunuch himself. Huh. Interesting. He must have been... I mean, yes, he must have... I was going to say he must have been made a eunuch after his children were born, but I think that's kind of obvious. Otherwise, it's going to be very obvious that his wife may have been cheating on him. Possibly. Anyway, carrying on. When's the next child? Next child comes of age in... Oh, also, does that now mean that my educator is educating one less? He's my court tutor as well, right? Yes, he's educating one less, so I can potentially get you to educate the next child on the list. Who would be... Oh, also, we can potentially start educating our grandchild as well now. Yeah, so we'll educate Marcos. And then we can... then we can probably get you educated by the genius, Rachel. So let's remove your guardian. You're going to now come back to my court, and then we're going to set the tutor as your guardian. Wonderful. So now I need to wait for you to get back. Okay. Wow, she was far away. Okay. Is she going to get back before she turns 16? Hopefully. Hopefully. June? Yeah, she should just about make it. Personal physician removed. Evangelos is dead. My friend is dead. Oh no. There's a new powerful family who holds the Aegean Islands. New realm priest, which is Nikephoros. Okay, he's not terrible. We gained 50 gold from our wife. And, Knight became Blade Master. Wonderful. That all seems good, apart from my friend dying. We need a new personal physician. That could be Methodius, who is excellent at it. It probably should be Methodius, who's excellent at it. What does he get there? Learning skill, learning education, and the fact that we have a library. Okay. Talking of the money we have, is there anything we can upgrade here? I wanted to see whether we can upgrade this any further, but I think we need the next level, right? We need manor building or higher, which means we need to upgrade to this, which means we need city planning, which the Greek culture would need to have, and the Greek culture currently does not have. So city planning, I think, is maybe even in the next set. Oh no, there it is. It's down here. So we'll get it in about 354 years currently. It's not going to take that long. Basically, it's because it's not it's not our fascination, and it's not what we're being exposed to. I think I did those the other way around. Yeah, this is the fascination, and then this is what we're being exposed to because somebody else has it. Because it's neither of them, it's not getting any bonuses, so it's only making it only has a chance of making 0.44 progress each month, and it's 5%. So it's obviously going to take a very long time to get to max, given that we need to get to 100. But once, say, this one stops being the fascination, it will then switch over. It might switch over to city planning, but we can't control this because only the Basilius can control that. So there you have it. That would be an interesting thing, actually, if there was a way of like scheming to get your cultural head to support the tech you want. I think that could be interesting. It's probably a little too long term. But yeah, it could definitely be interesting. Liege's War ends. Okay. Also, back to our estate for a second. I could buy a second building. I was going to leave these for... that was it. I was going to leave the second buildings for like the next character who takes over. How much is it for this? 240. So this is probably our next thing that we're buying. Okay, cool. Education completed. Oh, right. No, that's fine. She just returned to our court. Now, for a second I was thinking education completed. But then... but we didn't even get to put her underneath the genius. There we go. You're still a genius, right? I mean, it can't change. I was just checking if it was the right person. Unconditionally. As I lean over the map in my chamber, a sudden creak turns my head towards the entrance. My daughter Rachel appears at the threshold and saunters into the room, seemingly uninterested in my presence. Then without warning, I am enclosed in a tight hug. She quickly lets go with an embarrassed expression. I look at her, a hidden tear in my eye, while my hand is squeezing her shoulder in an effort to reciprocate the gesture. You're a good daughter. Don't cry. Do not cry. Okay. Meant some wards and wardens. I'm wondering if this is because she's come back from a trip or something? Which is technically what just happened. Artemios came of age. I'm proud to see my son no longer as a child, but as an adult. Even as a child, Artemios always had a way with words. It is therefore unsurprising he's taken well to the study of diplomatic relations. With an excellent grasp of all manners of etiquette, an understanding of all kinds of entertainment, and the eloquence to go with it, he'll be of little trouble navigating life at court. He's a charismatic negotiator. He got a level 3 education. Okay. Well, there we have him. I'm assuming that if I check Epirus, yeah, he doesn't scratch the top 4. So yeah, he's completely out there. Also, you're not spending any of your influence to put yourself in charge, despite you presumably having the ability to. Huh. So why are they not spending influence to put themselves in charge, given that they're gaining influence? Surely they should do that. Right? Interesting. Anyway, maybe it's because his investment capacity is too low to be in charge? Not that I know how to find the investment capacity. I was just seeing whether there was something like investment capacity in there. No. Okay. Cool. So, Artemios, we need to find you a spouse, and we also need to switch Theodosius's educator. Oh, that was the person I had pinned previously. Ah, fantastic. I need to switch your educator to be the genius. So we are going to remove your guardian. You are then going to teleport back to court. I'm assuming. Because now I can have you educated. Yes, you're going to teleport back to court. Wonderful. Because it's not an adventurer company you're leaving. Yeah, so you're just going to be in court now. Fantastic news. That's fine. And then Artemios can marry. Now, because we've decided that Artemios is not going to be an inheritor of our titles, we can assume he's going to be in our court. So we're going to reset this a little bit. So instead of our usual thing here, where we're trying to find someone to marry who would be good for him, now we're looking for somebody who we want to have in our court. So I definitely want an inheritable trait. I kind of want something like genius or intelligent. Let's look for genius. Are there any more geniuses we can get to court? Yes. Yaroslava. I think that this is our choice. Because he is not going to because he is not going to inherit any land outside of our court. We'd like you just to marry Yaroslava. Chance of passing on genius to children, which means there'll be more genius children of our house. And it means that she's going to be in our court and she can be useful in court positions. So that's who he's going to marry. Wonderful. He'll lose a little prestige for it, but it'll be good for us in the long term. Right. Cool. It should also be mentioned, I think I mentioned this occasionally, all marriages are basically just arbitrary in terms of who you choose. Like, there are some that are better than others in this one. It's probably just best to go for, like, inheritable trait, highest skills, but I'm trying to put some level of logic into it. But in the end, it's all kind of arbitrary. Right, Joshua, you're going to have your guardian removed as well. Your new guardian is going to be... Wait, is she even in court yet? I just realized they haven't said yes to the marriage yet. Right. Isaac has no reason to stay and will soon leave. Oh. Okay. Wait, did they say yes to the marriage? They did. Oh, okay, that's fine. Never mind. You're going to educate Joshua. Perfect. Could ask that you convert, but... Well, I guess I should ask people in my court to convert. Let's look for... let's direct vassals, not my religion. Courtiers, not my religion. Not orthodoxy. You want to convert? Yep. I gain some piety for this as well. Yep. To 100%. Love to see it. Okay. Cool. Joshua is now being educated by a genius, which means he'll be much better. Right. Fantastic. Let's unpause. Oh yeah, it said that he had no reason to stay, so he may leave. Let's see if we can find him a reason to stay. Or more correctly, let's just see if we've got any court positions we can fill in. Caravan Master? How much do I lose for this? 25. So we could try and put one of my sons in charge. Yaroslava is apparently excellent, though. But we could just try and put a son in charge if we wanted to. Like a Kakios. Just have pure nepotism. Wet nurse. You're the best wet nurse we have. That is our lover anyway, so that's fine. Court eunuch. Oh, that should be a Kakios. Yeah. Hostile scheme phase lengths are going to go down. Enemy hostile scheme phase lengths will go up. Court grandeur and then monthly court grandeur change, which don't matter as we have no court. Yeah, that's fine. He can be chief eunuch. Champion charioteer. We don't really have anyone who's good at that. Bookmaker. Reduces the cost of hosting a chariot race, provides gold on bets placed during a chariot race. As far as I've seen, there hasn't been any chariot races currently. We have somebody who would be good at it. It's only 4% monthly influence though, so. Court chronicler. That could be our court jester. Get some prestige per month. Yeah, antiquarian. That could be Isaac. It would mean that our artifacts wouldn't decay as much. There we go. We found a reason for Isaac to stay. The rest of this I don't think we really need. Yeah, it's weird that there haven't been a lot of activities on, actually. But I'm assuming there's not a lot of activities as nobody has any money because we're in 1891. So nobody actually has the money to host the activities. Because everyone's buying up their holdings first. That's kind of my logic anyway. Also, knights become blade masters I've seen a couple of times. Is that just them gaining more experience? Ah, that's them gaining more experience. So not becoming blade masters each time. They're gaining 10 experience in blade master each time. Yeah. So, that's what's been happening here. So they've been getting further and further along the blade master trees. Okay, so they're becoming even better. Yeah, a grand tournament would be quite good actually to get ourselves some artifacts and maybe get our knights some stuff. Do we have a... No, we don't have any, what's it called? I've forgotten the word. Accolades? I was trying to see in here whether there was one that said it, but yeah, accolades, I think is the word I was looking for. Yeah, so we don't have any, like, Knight of the X up the top here, so Yeah, I was trying to think, because you can get glory and things for them if you hold tournaments. Yeah, getting a few artifacts for them, maybe a few artifacts for us would be good. Yeah, how much does it cost to hold a grand tournament? 395. Let's just make one in concept, right? We can only hold one event. It would have to be a military event is the problem if I wanted them to get anything out of it. So we'd have to do something like, hey, we're going to host a duel tournament or something. Guess we could host a melee and they could be on our team. Yeah, that would cost 75. Okay. Let's say that we had these down at the bottom. So simple prizes. Cheapest is a 180 tournament. Okay. It's not that out of the realm of possibility, but 180 tournament means that you're going to get more negative events and the prizes will only be of common rarity. But it could be worth doing. Could be worth doing. It's worth thinking about anyway. Right. Rachel comes of age. I'm proud to see my daughter no longer as a child but as an adult. Always the clever child, Rachel proved time and again over the course of her studies that she had a natural affinity for careful planning and more than a little misdirection. Now it is harder to say, however. Everything that is tasked of her is done by others before she gets to it, and she never tells petty lies the way she used to. Perhaps she is not as clever as she seemed after all. She's an elusive shadow. Ooh. So her intrigue is fantastic. Okay, I'm not sure who we're going to marry her to. Maybe we just try and find her the best marriage possible. I mean, in theory, that was effectively what you would do, right? If she's not going to inherit something, you would try and find her the best marriage possible. We're not going to matrilineally marry, although it's probably more optimal for us. Let's try and find her, like, who's the highest ranked person she could marry? She could marry a Strategos, who's about to die. She could marry Boss Raphael, the Reavers of the Millstone, who's a detractor of the Caliphate and a gallows bait. Probably not that person. She could marry Lord Simvatios, who is part of the is head of the Millennios family. Sure, they hold no land, but maybe we marry her off and maybe we try and support him somewhat. Yeah, you know what? Let's marry her off and maybe try and support him. Just as like an extra thing to do. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I think I'm happy with all that. He will accept you to know your land, know your people. He doesn't like that we have a ton of alliances, but, you know, that's fine. So, where is your land? Where's your estate currently? Currently over here. Is this not the land that has no heir? It is a land that has no heir. Maybe we try and put our son-in-law in charge? Am I even able to support him? No, so I'm not able to support somebody who isn't a member of our family. At least not as a base, like, supporting thing. Am I able to support him in general? Ah, there we go. So I would do it via that. So I can... Yeah, so let's try and... support him in charge of the... in charge of this them. We'll just contribute a tiny, tiny amount. Influence him. Yeah. Gains 1 opinion of me. And he may reward his top non-house sponsor. So I've married my daughter off to him. And now I will minorly sponsor him for that title. So he is now up there 76 in that one. Fantastic. Does mean we need to find something else for Theodosius to inherit. But I'm sure we can manage. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.